G'day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Brass on Tap. Thanks so much for enjoying and for joining me here. Um, this is episode 3. How exciting! What I firstly want to tell you, if you missed our last episode 2 with Callum Ow, please go back to the YouTube channel, go on the playlist. You'll find it there in episode 2. It was a great conversation diving into trombone, how he approached, how he came about composing and arranging, and how he has accomplished so much at such a young age. Exciting times around the world at the moment. Obviously, in Parliament Square today, as well as in Birmingham, we had Let Music Live. It's great to see so many professional musicians coming out and supporting it. And please, everyone, support your musicians, support your arts around the world. If you see things happening, go and support them. If you have any spare cash going and they are putting on concerts for you, please support them. Let's keep music live and let it live. The world needs music right now. So moving on to episode 3, we have Larry Meregillano on. Now this is going to be exciting. He has a wealth of knowledge from all his teachers, from his book. He's bringing out new systems. He can literally change your playing. So without further ado, let's get this going. Actually, let me play a video for you. This is one of my favorite videos he put up on Facebook.
But while I was with Truth, there was a cadenza on a thing called He's on His Way. Now, Larry Brubaker first played it. He used to land on about a double G
That's
on
true
this
good
cadenza.
sound there.
And I said, the heck with it. Well, if he did a double D, I got to do higher. So I to a triple high B. So the question is, can I still do it today at 64 years old? Yeah, I guess so.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was Larry Meregillano all the way up to a triple B. That's ridiculous. At 64 years old as well. Anyway, without further ado, let's get Larry on. G'day, Larry. How are you?
I'm doing great, and what an honor and a pleasure to be a guest on your show.
It's my pleasure. It's our pleasure, really. Obviously, your approach to trumpet playing is incredible, and it obviously stems from some incredible teachers. But you've also invented new ways and compression systems and everything that has helped yourself and many other trumpet players around the world. And you're sharing all your trumpet tips online, which is incredible. But at the moment, shall we just go back to the beginning? Let's just talk about how a bit of lockdown, a bit of COVID, where you are in the world, obviously across the pond from the UK. How's it been over there for you?
An absolute shutdown.
Oh,
So there are no movies. There are, as same with you. No live performances. No meeting of any kind. Everyone's wearing masks, being extremely cautious. I do live in California, which is very much a Democratic state, and so the Democrats seem to take it a whole lot more seriously than the Republicans. And since we are democratically controlled, the lockdowns here are very severe, and that's probably a good thing because I'm 64 years old with underlying health conditions. So I'm. It's been a big adjustment. I've
yeah,
gone from having a healthy income to just my Social Security pension, which
yeah,
is supplemented by a few students,
yeah,
and that took some getting used to. I moved into a very small apartment. When I say small, it's basically one room, but it's autonomous from the other room, so it's not like living in the same house. They allow me to practice a couple hours a day, so that's good, which I've
that's
not been
very good.
doing. So I was a guinea pig for my own system, but basically there is no live, and what little live music there is they're using singles or duos. They're outside of a restaurant, in the
Yeah.
outside area.
So in the end, I mean, it really is affecting everywhere around the world, isn't it? It's crazy. But from what I know, you do offer lessons, don't you?
I do. And I'm very reasonable. I'm only charging $60 an hour.
Great.
You know,
And whereabouts can people go to find you? And
www.trumpetlegacy.com. Order your lessons there.
great,
And
awesome.
a private one-on-one lesson where you are. I will diagnose your chops and just share with you in a very relaxed manner, informal manner, all of my concepts and how
Yeah.
I've arrived to these ideas.
Well, talking about concepts, since you brought it up, shall we start at the beginning of your playing career? Like, how you been? I mean, you've got a very impressive career playing, through the Disneys. You've been music director on cruise ships. You've supported so many artists, been on so many recordings. Go back to the beginning. Like, how have you become the trumpet player that you are today?
Well, my father left my mother at the age of 3 years old. But he happened to be a very fine trumpet player. And I think that maybe I decided to grab his attention by becoming a good trumpet player, which I did. And by the time I was 18 years old, we were playing in big bands together in San Diego, learning from each other. We really became best mates. But he was a really fine musician, even though he didn't mentor me in music.
Yeah.
We ended up being pros together. So I think that was a big motivating factor, and it's just something I fell in love with, and it's just a challenge that I decided I'm going to stick with, no matter what. And there's been a lot of sacrifice in that,
Yeah, of course.
but at the same time, it's brought me a long ways. I, at an early age, sought out information from some of the best. I was 15 years old when I studied with Cat Anderson, Jeff Winstead, who wrote the book on Cat. Um, he let me get myself back in the camera. That's okay. Jeff and I took lessons with Cat Anderson simultaneously. We drove up at the same time. So Cat Anderson, Claude Gordon, Roy Stevens in New York City, Carmine Caruso, Harold Mitchell, they all
Wow.
became a strong influence on me at a very early age.
Yeah.
And by the time I was 21 years old, I was traveling the country. I was traveling throughout the United States. I was playing venues like the Madison Square Garden Complex, the Lincoln Center. It goes on and on and on. Trying to get in the camera here. Oh, why? There we go. I think it's in your program. Okay, that's better. Now we're set. So, I got a lot of experience. By the time I was 18, 19 years old, I was playing in bands with people like Eric Mernithal, Ron Stout, Mike Paulson, some of the greatest. They were amazing. And so I fell in love with it. I learned quickly, and I listened to my mentor's advice, and I put it into action.
Yeah.
And what I found was that there are certain consistencies in their method. And those consistencies in methodology are a line of truth that go throughout what they're having to say. And so what I did with my trumpet method, a trumpet legacy, in the beginning at least, in the foreword, there's several pages that explain briefly the line of truth. I'm about to release a new book in conjunction with my compression training system that will really outline the theory behind it. And basically the theory is this, and it's true. Those of us who are playing the upper register with ease are not just compressing with the muscles of the abdominal region, or to compress the lungs. That's the gas tank, and certainly where a certain amount of compression comes from, but the focus goes all the way through to the mouthpiece. In other words, we are compressing with our entire body,
Mm-hmm.
and that means that we have to use the muscles of the oral cavity to compress the air. And in using it correctly, we find a way to exchange pressure for compression. The energy has to come from somewhere. It's got to come from somewhere. There's energy involved in playing a super C. You want to force your strong arm pressure, or do you want to relax? And let me show you. I've done any warm up today. A couple of notes to test the mic here, but that's compression. In such a way that I am able to gather enough strength and compression from within the oral cavity to focus that compression forward through the vibrating aperture. And that's why I don't, look how I'm holding my horn. I just kind of cradle it. I don't have to, get any strong grip measures there. It just. How the hell am I getting this type of high frequency vibrations at such huge volume without using pressure? Well, if I was using pressure, I wouldn't be able to get there.
You just choke them off, wouldn't you?
The trick is this: to be able to exchange pressure for compression. And if we have the time, I don't know if our listeners are going to be interested in this, but I can take you from the beginning to the end of how.
How about our listeners leave comments? If you want to leave comments, ask Larry any questions while he's going. Please do, because Larry is going to explain exactly what's going on. So please just comment along if you want to hear anything that Larry wants to say. So off you go, Larry.
Well, let's start off from the beginning. One of my greatest mentors was Roy Stevens of the Costello. I must say that Costello was phenomenal in the fact that they were the first to identify one of the most important features of playing the trumpet efficiently. That's exactly what I said. They first identified the action of compressing the air from within the oral cavity. They didn't go into it into detail like I did. And unfortunately, they stubbornly held on to the idea that it must be an upstream proposition. Well, it isn't. How many players do we see playing extremely efficient in the upper register who play downstream? The lead trumpet player, the airman of note here, Brian McDonald, Mark Zaus, that list goes on and on. Alan Vizzuti, Lynn Nicholson.
Yeah.
They're all, although we can't see where the jaw is positioned in the actual position of the horn, because you can play upstream with a downstream, appearing to be downstream, but I believe that they're actually downstream players. So that was their biggest mistake in Costello, and as a result, he probably hurt as many people as he helped.
Yeah.
Because none of us have the physical qualities to play upstream. But the mechanics are the same. The mechanics dictate that the vibrating surface is the top lip. Well, and the bottom lip it can be the face. You hear that all the time. So the pressure should go at the bottom. I look at it this way. The foundation is the bottom, only because the jaw is a rudder that steers the airstream. And if you don't have a foundation on that rudder, it's not going to be able to steer the airstream freely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that means, teeth aperture closing up and down. That means, the jaw moving left or right, or going forward or back. That's the jaw is free to do this. Okay. So having said that, what they really stressed was the act of allowing the air to dictate the tension in the muscles of the face. So it's a cause and effect. We have compression and we have air. We have muscles that respond to the compression of air. So compression inside the oral cavity, throughout the entire body, the muscles of the face respond to that compression of air.
So, Larry, I've seen you in one of your videos before demonstrating that compression. I think you've put the two fingers up here, and could you just people probably people who haven't watched your videos, and if you do, go to his YouTube channel. There's so many good videos on Larry Meregillano's YouTube channel. But could you just demonstrate what you mean by when you're engaging these muscles? And you have a very quite muscular face, and if you look at a lot of like the Maynards and the Chiros, they're muscular faces. So could you just demonstrate where people are aiming for? Yeah,
I'm showing off my muscles. You can see them.
Yeah. You haven't even done anything yet.
They've become extremely developed through my new. Excuse me. I just hit the stand here. Through my new system, which is nothing more than an extension of the old system. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Let me just explain it real quick. First thing you got to do is do the pencil exercise. The pencil will become an exercise of alignment. So we're putting it in between the teeth, and that is a really measurement of the aperture, and that's pretty good as a starting point. Like say low C, middle G, whatever. Actually, get a starting point aperture. I paid $60 for this back in 1977 in Roy's studio, and I'm about to give it to you for free. The pencil exercise, you do not hold it with your lips. That's an isometric exercise that has no resemblance whatsoever. This one is an exercise of alignment. Okay, so now we say M. M puts the lips together so that they're touching, and we blow air past the pencil, allowing all. You see, I'm putting way back here, allowing all the muscles of the face to be exposed to the airstream. As we're blowing air through in a relaxed manner, the compression of air dictates the tension in these muscles. You say, oh, but Larry, you're kind of puffing your cheeks. You have air pocket. I was told never. Well, you were told wrong. Sorry. And proof of it is if you Google images of Arturo Sandoval, Maynard Ferguson, John Faddis, Wayne Bergeron, and the like, you will see that action taking place in here.
Yeah. The
muscles of the face are responding to the compression of air. So why am I world stronger than 99% of the trumpet players that I meet? I can answer that question. 99% of the trumpeters were told to play and look proper. Get that little triangular look there so that you're holding the lips in, keeping the corners firm, and we set the embouchure and then we blow. When in fact we should be doing quite the opposite. We should be relaxing and not letting the air do the tension, dictate the tension in the muscles. The air, the response to that compression is what causes the muscles to contract. Okay, that's the way I play. But the way many play is they buzz the trumpet. Here's me buzzing. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't buzz. I blow air past a vibrating surface.
Yeah.
I don't buzz lips. So when we're told to look pretty and hold everything in and buzz, we are restricting the amount of muscular motion. And it's that muscle action that will cause us to build.
Yeah.
Because now we're exercising. Okay. So it's like this. Most trumpet players are guilty of going to the gym, picking up the barbells and going, and not going any farther in the motion. They're going like this. I'm going through the full motion of muscular movement. And the guys who are looking pretty, they aren't. They're restricting that the muscular motion. So what is the upshot? What is the product, the final product? I've been doing this exercise since I was 15 years old, maybe 14. I first uh, came across it at the Don Ellis Jazz Clinic with the lead trumpet player Paul Vagosian, who was a student of Roy Stevens.
Yep.
Gave Don Ellis a trumpet lesson in front of the palm exercise. I'm going to hold the horn on the palm of my hand. That was a super C with literally no pressure. Well, there's pressure because you grip on the amount of weight of the instrument against the flat palm. But my fingers aren't curled. They're not grabbing. I'm just flat palmed. And that's so. What I've done is I've aligned the vibrating surface with the pencil. I've gotten my muscles acquainted with the action of answering the compression of air. And now I set it up on the horn and I blow at it. Now, this is not a musical exercise. It's noise.
Yeah.
But it aptly demonstrates the correct action. There's a double D. There's no pressure.
Yeah, you can tell. Like, you can literally tell that it's just sat on your chops.
It's sat on my chops, and the muscles of the face are responding to the airstream. Well, it was difficult for me to try and express this and show students how to do it. And when I was writing a Trumpet Legacy 2, I'm only writing 3 books right now. That's true. They're just ready, almost ready for the edit and ready to go. Actually, they are ready for the edit.
And whenabouts will they come out, Larry? Do you think, before you move on from that?
Well, I had to stop work on Trumpet Legacy 2, and I wouldn't say I'm stopping. I'm working very heavily with a copyist, and we have a ton of material to put together, a ton of stuff. We'll get into that later. Let me go ahead and finish my line of thought here. I was trying to think of a way to show them how this concept works. And I was sat there at my desk on board ship, and I put my mouthpiece up, and I thought, whoa, wait a second, that's it. So I closed off the end of the back door with a pencil. It feels more comfortable this way. It feels more like a lead pipe.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we can't blow air past that tube, that it's clogged up. We're blowing against the resistance of a closed tube. That's my embouchure. And I'm activating all the muscles involved in compressing the air forward through the vibrating aperture tunnel. So the compression is completely focused right here. Okay, so how do we put that into action? Well, you can do it yourself. You can block the end of your mouthpiece off, and you can blow against that, and that's going to activate those correct muscles automatically. And you'll get the feel, provided that you relax and allowing the air to dictate the tension. You'll get the feel for what it is like to do this. That's right. You'll get the feel for what it's like to be able to focus all that compression into that vibrating aperture, but all the musculature of the face is involved.
Yeah.
Not just the corners, not just the
yeah.
It's a misnomer. Our entire bodies are involved in compressing the air. Entire body. And it's a balance between relaxation and tension. Relax, look at my neck. I mean, it expands out to here. That's relaxation. Tongues down, tongues up. You're relaxing. When you align the muscles of the face to dictate the tension, or the air to dictate the tension of the muscle.
So when Larry, when you're practicing when you're doing the hermetic seal and everything, are you always concentrating on everything being even? So obviously you did the pencil in between the teeth. Are you concentrating on that, of your teeth being that far apart and your lips being aligned, or just what's the breakdown of that situation? Because obviously you've got it set up, but obviously you've got a lot of people with overbites, a lot of people with underbites. Like, do you need them to even it up, or what are we looking at?
One of the biggest mysteries about brass playing is that it's an entire individual process.
It is, yeah. Everyone's different.
And so Harold Mitchell said this. He said, trumpet playing is experimental and individually so. I can point the direction with these exercises, but you ultimately have to discover it, how to use it.
So would that work? So in saying that, would that work for a downstream player? So say, I mean, I've got a very old mouthpiece here, but if they were playing like,
I don't know. I think we should ask Brian McDonald when he blows his.
Wow, exactly. Yeah.
Of course it works for you. Of course it works.
Well, I might get Brian on as well and see what he says. That'd be great. Down the track, I'll get Brian on the channel.
Well, truth is truth, that if he's playing the way he is, he's gonna agree with me.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
Of course he will. I'm just curious, really. So
he may express us. He may express it differently, but I think that the same common line of truth is going to be strong.
So where did you move to from the hermetic seal then? So obviously you went, hang on, this works. So then how did the process then move on from there?
Well, in 2013, after I had several medical setbacks. I was hospitalized 5 times.
Bloody hell.
One time I went to get a new passport at the Federal Building downtown West LA, and they called my number, and I stood up and I took a face mask right into the tarmac. Just bam!
Holy smokes!
Landed on my teeth, and I put my top teeth through my bottom lip.
Wow.
It was bad news. I was black and blue left. And I woke up 40 minutes, mind you. That's how hard I got knocked out. 40 minutes later, I woke up in the emergency room at UCLA. Well, that kept repeating itself several times. To make a long story short, I was diagnosed with atrial fibrillation. And it was at such a severe point that it was causing me to lose consciousness. So I had a heart surgery. But at that time, I needed a way to stay in shape.
Yeah.
I didn't want to lose my chops. I had a gig to go to. I didn't want to lose my chops. So while I was in the hospital, just listen to all this in the UK, whilst in the hospital, I developed the hermetic seals exercise. And that's where I used it, and it kept me in shape.
Amazing.
There's only one problem with the hermetic seal exercise, and that it's a static isometric exercise.
Yeah.
It's static. It's holding still, motion against motion. And that's a limited amount of muscular growth that occurs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hours going in a hurry. I want to go ahead and cover this real quick. We've got to be careful to utilize all the muscles of the face and the muscle coordination involving the muscle movement. So the hermetic seal exercise aptly demonstrates utilizing these muscles, but it was limited. So I went on searching for a way that I could provide variable back pressure to work the muscles of the face against. I tried tearing apart tire gauges and putting new springs in. I had Lee McKinney at Eclipse work on a few things. It just didn't come together for many reasons until one day it hit me what I needed to use. And that's when I came up with the compression training system, which gives us back pressure in a measurement called TORS after the inventor Torsolini. So I can measure my compression levels as I blow against a manometer. I'm going to show it to you. Okay. All I've done, okay, I'm putting a rubber tube into the back door of a mouthpiece, and incidentally, just by coincidence, it fits every brass instrument. You can use in a French horn. You're going to have to expand this and put it into the actually insert the mouthpiece. Every other mouthpiece, even a cornet, will crimp down into the back bore, and it self seals. A tuba, it'll go all the way up towards the throat, but it will
It
work
will
it.
seal, yeah.
And so with the seal, what we're doing here is we're working against back pressure. Now this is one of the prototypes that I ordered. It doesn't have my fancy thing on it, but let me show it to you. Oh, sorry. I need to get you in camera. There we go.
Yeah,
Now,
right.
each and every one of those movements up to 240 tours, which is extreme, is going to is a rep. So it's like going to the gym and you're lifting weights.
Oh.
Okay, and your highest level is what you go to and you do 15 reps of that. 10 to 15 reps. And then you rest 90 seconds. You see, half the battle for brass players is learning when to rest, learning when to exercise. Rest intervals are extremely important. Why? Because as the muscles metabolize energy, there's a byproduct, and that product is lactic acid. So muscle fibers metabolize in two different ways. There's the explosive muscle type,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the bulk muscles. Those are, with the muscleman look, and that's why I've got these big bumps here in my face. I'm 64 years old, and my jaws aren't there yet. It's just I've got some strength behind the muscle, and I've completely built them with this system. It's crazy how good it works. Okay, so we're blowing against the compression, high levels of compression. So for the first time ever, we have a huge leap in the challenge that we're putting against the muscle face. And it's the exact same musculature that we use to play correctly. But now we're challenging them to hold back and indeed produce compression at very high levels. It's never been accomplished before. Let's go back to the muscle fiber. Muscle fiber being explosive, being that bulk muscle. But what about the muscle fibers that we utilize when we're doing long-term playing for endurance? That's a different type of fiber. That fiber is metabolized by glucose, and mitochondria puts whatever we need into the muscles themselves, the muscle cells. So it may dump in oxygen, it may dump in glucose, it may or a mixture of the two. And where the explosive muscles, where everything's quick and hard and full, that's oxygen. The long-term muscles is a mixture of both.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to work both types of muscles. I could work all day long on the double high C armature and get those explosive muscles developed, but I can't ignore the endurance muscles. Otherwise, I'm going to go to the gig and fall apart.
Yeah.
You still have to put the time in. And at that point, we're going to be working low intensity, long term. So between 40 tours. And we just hold it there while breathing through our nose. You see, the action is like your circular breathing. Let me explain it to you quickly. What causes a trumpet player like the late Clark Terry or Rafael Mendez to be able to circular breathe with ease throughout the entire range of the instrument? How are they doing so? Of course, they're utilizing the muscles of the face because they're breathing through their nose.
Yeah.
Those are the muscles that need to develop. So when we're using the compression training system, we are not using the muscles from the lungs. We are using the muscles of the face, and we're blowing against the actual contour of the mouthpiece. So the muscle fibers are growing the grip here as well. So it's the first time ever a system of exercise off the horn concentrates on the exact muscles of expression utilized in playing a brass instrument.
That's incredible. It really is.
I think it's a huge
Yeah,
contribution,
could be a game
and
changer.
it is a game changer. And there are going to be a bunch of musical idiots running around playing Super C's like me.
Give me 2 secs. Hang on. Now, I picked this up, this book up because you suggested in one of your videos one time, and you explained because obviously you're a student of his. But I picked this up. Now,
yes, that was written by my next door neighbor and a bandmate in high school.
yeah,
Jeff said we've known each other for more than 50 years.
yeah. Now he goes into the Whisper G, and you actually, like, I got told about the Whisper G, and then your video came out explaining what the actual Whisper G was. Now, my question for you is, you know how you said that endurance, low intensity that you're using on the compression training system, would that replace having to do that G for 20 minutes? Is that the similar thing? Yeah.
Without a doubt. In fact, the thing about this compression training system is it's a whole lot more time efficient.
Yeah.
Because we're lifting heavier loads, we don't need to put much time into it. I don't want to tell you that I've found a way not to practice, because you need to put the time.
Right, you do, yeah.
But let me demonstrate what that's about. When we put our teeth closed end to end, as Cat Anderson advised, and play that middle G, we are focusing the vibrating aperture forward in such a way, we're lengthening that vibrating aperture tunnel, and we are forming a vibrating surface in front of the teeth instead of flat on the teeth. So it's basically this motion. It's not a pucker, it's this. That's your unfurl. And we do it in a very relaxed manner. There's a very famous photo of John Faddis where he's taking a breath. He's looking like this.
Oh, I've seen that. I'll see if I can find. I'll see if I can find it. Hang on. Yeah, like keep talking. I'll see if I can find it while you're doing that. I've definitely seen that before.
Oh, then I will especially snare out. Thank you very much.
It's like Popeye. Arsh.
It's this motion that Maynard Ferguson said, "I grip the mouthpiece. The mouthpiece doesn't grip me." So, what's happening there? Well, let me show it to you with the compression, with the hermetic seal exercise. When I'm doing this in a extreme manner and blowing compression, you just tell me right now whose armature this looks like. I'm looking at my pencil, easier to see it. Okay, check it out.
Oh, that looks like Maynard, surely.
Maynard Ferguson.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's what John is doing.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I'm doing.
Well, I've got loads of photos of John, but I can't find the breathing one, so I could probably get one up of him.
With that, we can do things like, okay, octave slurs. Over and over and over. Easy. One-handed. We have that muscle built up. We have that grip built up. We have all these muscles. I get fatigued back here around my jaw, all the way through here. There are muscles throughout the entire face that are involved in the compression process.
So how do you?
And when you start to build those compression muscles, you start to play like me.
So I was just thinking to myself, like, how do you, how do you go? Like, do you find that this compression system, or even if you say you are practicing your high velocity stuff, when you go back to quiet, do you ever find any stiffness or any problems or anything, or is it absolutely fine?
Absolutely none whatsoever.
Awesome. That's amazing.
If anything, I'm more flexible. Let me finish that thought on the teeth closed, because the compression training system really amplifies it.
Is this, Larry, here's a photo of Faddis. Is this what you're talking about?
Well, you can certainly see the action there. Look how he's compressing all the way.
Yeah, that's definitely compressed, isn't it? And you can see on his little finger, he's barely putting any pressure on as well.
Yes. So where's the looking at that, where is the power coming from? Where is obviously he's exchanging pressure for compression.
Yeah, exactly.
The normal player uses pressure. We use compression.
Yeah. So I've heard Wayne Bergeron and other players like that they always explain in their masterclasses that obviously he doesn't use compression all the time. It's mainly like there's a certain point or like you say, there is some kind of pressure you need to use at some point. But do you use compression for most of your range, including the low register?
Yesterday, I did a session. I can't tell you much more about it other than
secret session.
Well, you have to sign waivers,
of course,
that you won't.
Yeah,
but it was a Grammy Award-winning singer,
exciting,
a jazz pianist, and me.
Amazing.
I don't want to sound like Maynard Ferguson in a setting like that.
No, exactly.
I'm not going to use compression for that.
Of course. But this is, I think, this is why I asked the question, because a lot of people are just like, I don't want, say, our younger folk or anyone just, I could just imagine them in the band rooms right now, just going.
It's soft,
yeah,
it's dark.
So when would you, in your range, when would you start? In your range, when would you start sort of thinking a compression thing, or for you, is it just natural now?
The biggest problem with trumpet players is that we want to analyze everything. Well, what point did you start using compression? I don't know. It's an automatic response. When I got... I'm going to use compression.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair one.
And it's just going to come out of the horn. Yeah. It just such an automatic response for me. How many people can do that today? That's Cat Anderson.
Yeah, exactly. So another question I have for you is, obviously there are multiple methods out there, and you've brought out this system. Now, does this training system and the way you do it, do people have to be playing like the Costellos and the Cat Andersons and stuff, or would just any kind of setup work?
This is going to be a growing process as we unleash this animal on the world. And I think the results will answer themselves.
Of course.
And yes. I don't care what your approach is. Mm-hmm. Maybe you use to have any air pockets. That's fine. You're still going to get muscular strength out of this.
Yeah.
Okay, let me backtrack, because I never fully answered the question about the Cat Anderson middle G. Do we need to do the middle G anymore? No, we don't. And I'll show you why. There's something about that end-to-end position that focuses the muscular strength in the center of the orbicular muscles. So when I'm blowing against compression, I will do a teeth closed set. And I'll hold it until I get a burn. And guess where the burn appears with the teeth closed?
There.
Right dead center. And that's what Cat Anderson was teaching us.
See, no one explains that.
Yes. Well, nobody knows it.
Oh, that's true.
I after 50 years, I finally figured it out. And it took the creation of this gizmo before I could figure out, oh wow, that's extreme muscular fatigue right there
Yeah.
in the center. So, I opened my mouth at different levels. I like unnaturally open for the trumpet, and I end up activating different portions of the face.
Amazing.
What's amazing about it is the results.
Well,
I've been in my tiny room here about the size of a ship's cabin, and I have built more strength and range than I've ever had in my life without practicing the trumpet. Now, that's a huge, bold statement, but guess what? I have proof.
yeah,
You
you
just
do.
heard it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And one of the greatest things I think I love about this compression training system, and honestly I can't wait to get mine, is this: it's travelable. Like, the amount of people like that would be sat in the airport or whatever they're doing. They got a day off, and you can just take it in your bag.
Well, realizing that, I, at first I thought, well, I'm just gonna manufacture these, by the thousands and just do the bag. I'll just do the meter. Well, that would give me the most profit. But I wanted to give guys something a little bit more. I wanted to make it something special. So I'll take less money out of my pocket to give to the public what this is. So what I've done is I've invested in mouthpiece pouches
Mm-hmm.
with my logo. Sorry about that, guys. It's got my logo. It's kind of attractive. And a bag, a drawstring, like the type of fabric you would use in a gym bag with a drawstring to it.
Great.
Now we have two rubber tubes, one attached to the meter, one not. One's open. We have the mouthpiece pouch and the bag to hold it together. The idea is that on the train commute to London, sorry, we would we'd be able to shut out all the Farsi being spoken. And sorry, I'll never forget going to the tubes and not hearing one word of English. Anyways, we can easily pack it up anywhere we go and use it.
Yeah.
Full protection for the mouthpiece, and that's why I built it as a kit. So it also comes with a video tutorial as well as an ebook. And I'm busy working through all of that with a broken computer. But anyways, it's all going to come together. I have some very strong help through the man who's partnering with me in this venture makes commercials, adverts, commercial television.
Oh, amazing.
Adverts. And so it's all going to be really done in a very professional manner, and I hope it lasts 100 years.
Yeah, it's definitely.
So the reason why we would do the two, let me just show you real quickly. Obviously, we can't practice articulation against a closed system. But with the tube, and this is wonderful, it's a rubber PVC tube. That's all it is. It supplies a lot of back pressure. It dampens the sound, which because of the nature of the rubber tube, and it throws all that vibration back at us. So it's like a massage. So in between sets on the compression trainer, I'll watch TV and I'll just do a long tone. Then I do lip slurs. And I also practice my articulation. Obviously, we're not making music, but we can exercise the muscle of the tongue by working it against the strong resistance that the tube gives us in both the taw and the caw attack. And we do it until our muscles are completely fatigued. And I'm talking the muscle of the tongue. So caw attack, taw attack, until you feel your muscles getting tired in the tongue.
Yeah.
So that's part of your warm up. It reconnects us with the actual buzzing on the mouthpiece. It reacquaints us with the setting. And then once we're there and we feel comfortable with that, we feel our normal setting, then we can blow against the compression of the compression trainer and do our sets. Because now we've reacquainted ourselves with the vibrating surface.
That's great.
So it isn't that huge disconnect. So that's what you get in the kit. You get the tube. I will call it give it a fancy name just because I can. It is now an articulation trainer.
That's great. You're gonna have to give yourself a new title of Larry Meregillano, the PTI of trumpet players. People doing workouts under the Larry Meregillano method. Yeah.
We've never up until now,
No.
aside from some isometric exercises that we
Yeah.
have and some, I mean, the Pete is a wonderful innovation.
It is. Yeah.
And
Terry Warburton. Yeah.
I would see my contribution as something that will sit side by side with the Pete.
Correct. Yeah.
Will never hear me disparage his Ken Titmus's wonderful innovation and executed by Terry Warburton.
Yeah.
It won't take the place of it. It will certainly further. And up until now, we've not had an exercise trainer that completely works the muscles, fibers of the face that grip the mouthpiece and are charged with the compression of air. But now we have a specific trainer that will work those specific muscles. And it can't help but make you a strong trumpet player. I mean, I can't tell you how strong I feel, and I've not practiced.
Not that we're condoning no practice, but yeah.
I mean, it is phenomenal, the strength that I've gathered just using this stupid system that I happen.
I don't think it's a stupid system. I think it's quite clever. But before we move on to just a little bit and wrap up, Larry, before people go anywhere, tell us, please, for our listeners, for our rewatchers, everyone. So where can they actually go and investigate and purchase one of these compression systems?
We have just ordered 1,000 of them from the factory. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, warehouses are being poorly manned and on and on and on throughout the world. And so our delivery to my doorstep is not going to be till mid to late December.
Right.
That's as close as I can right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go ahead and start taking orders in November.
Great.
I don't want to hold on to everybody's money and wait until December before I can finish the transaction. That wouldn't be fair. So what I'm asking people to do is to go to my website, www.trumpetlegacy.com, and reserve the first run.
Yeah.
They can do that by just putting down their emails there and registering. And once that's the emails there, everybody will get a flash email that'll tell them, "Hey, we're live. We're ready to take orders. Give me your money." I'm sorry, it's worth it, guys. Come on, $60 for a video tutorial, an ebook, and the compression training system kit. That's a killer deal.
That is a killer deal.
And it's going to be 10 times more effective for you than purchasing any mouthpiece on the block. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
It isn't the mouthpiece. Here's a what's this? A 3C? Sorry. That's a huge, deep mouthpiece. Obviously it's not as strong as the 10 3/4 EW I'm working on right now. But let me put in a flugelhorn mouthpiece just for the fun of it. Not double high C. It's the mouthpiece, guys. If you want to spend your money on improving your chops, this is the route to go, and it's only $60.
Yeah.
Come on, 60. I should be charging $200 for this system.
I think it's great.
I want to give it to everyone. I want it to be accessible to everyone because I know the benefits that this thing has given me, and I want to share those benefits with you, and I want to make it within reach of every trumpet player. So it's half the price of a mouthpiece.
That's amazing, Larry. Like it's so. Please don't wait. Go check Larry's website out. Go check he's obviously got, let me get this up as well. There's his book called Trumpet Legacy that you can get as well. And you can also put in in November, you can put in your order for the compression training system. And yeah, let's all latch onto this innovative system.
as we're saying goodbye here, we've gone over. Can I just mention real quick that I
Well,
am
Larry, we can go for as long as you want, and this is what I would just quickly wanted to move on. I just wanted to. You brought out your own mouthpiece, the LM. Which is around a 7C, for what I mean, you'd know more, obviously. And you obviously got to work with Lee McKinney developing your trumpet. Now, could you just go in real quick, because I don't want to keep you all day, just about your process of how you went about it and what people should look for when they're purchasing a trumpet?
well. It's got to have 3 valves.
That's a good start.
Let me. Lee McKinney is an artist.
And Lee McKinney, for everyone out there, Lee McKinney works for Eclipse Trumpets. Well, he owns and builds Eclipse Trumpets. So,
In England.
yeah, and he lives in Luton, or works in Luton.
Don't go at night. Oh, sorry. I'm just kidding. It's a fabulous place. It's about 40 minutes, 30 minutes away from Heathrow. And really, I spent so many years in the UK. And I must say, you are one Aussie with a bit of a Brit accent. Do they call you a
Yes.
pomp?
My family all call me a pommy. Yeah.
I can hear it. I mean, you can still hear a bit of a twang in the
Yeah.
Aussie bit, but I hear a lot of UK.
It's what happens when you're married to a Brit. I guess it just rubs off on you.
Here's an observation: how many Americans do you know that can actually pick up on that?
Not many, but you've done so much traveling and playing around the world that you have become accustomed to it.
Well, I sort of love UK.
Oh yeah. Well, you
You know,
you do trips over here, and you're willing to travel over here as well. When obviously when we're allowed to travel again in the world, but you're willing to come over for workshops and everything, aren't you, Larry?
are you serious? I can't wait to come.
Yeah.
And I hope to come once or twice a year from now on. It's truly one of my favorite destinations in the world. I have so many good mates there. I was based out of there for more than 10 years
Yeah.
out of Southampton. I'm almost not. At least I understand you all.
So how did you come about like discovering Eclipse and Lee McKinney and everything like that?
It was a friend. I mean, saw my videos and he wanted to get some instruction, so I started working with him. And obviously, Mark is a fabulous trumpet player, one
Yeah.
of the best. And he was sponsored by Eclipse, and he said, well, "Let's go over to hang out with Lee." So I played a few of his horns, and I was blown away with them. And he said, "Larry, I was a Bach artist, and he said, well, if you ever decide to leave Bach, I'd like to work with you." As it worked out, he didn't cause me to leave Bach. I made the decision to do so because I just loved the way his horns played. And one day he came to me and he said, "Larry, I'd like to make you a horn. If you had your the most optimum trumpet, what would it be?" And I said, "Well, why don't we look at it going back to the large bore? Large bores were really hugely popular for many years, and that's all pros would play.
Yeah.
Certainly the commercial ones. Let's do another Claude Gordon. Let's make a better Claude Gordon. Let's put some of the qualities of the Martin Committee model in it, as well as maybe some of the qualities of the Olds Mendez and the Claude Gordon Binge." So what we want is a horn that sounds huge, but plays like a medium large horn. So what we ended up with is with a polybore horn. The flare is about like a 72. You can see that the front end is reverse lead pipe, and the bracing is very similar to the Martin Committee model. So the front end is very conical in nature with the reverse lead pipe, and it's very much like a Martin Committee model. The bell has the chokes in it in the back, as does the Clyde Gordon. So we're getting enough resistance to play on. So it is extremely versatile. When I'm playing lead, I'm going to get a huge vibrating, projecting sound. But when I decide to bring it back down and do like a classical or a dark sound, that's not classical, but it's dark.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just getting used to that new tooth. Sorry, the new tooth is very difficult here. So I'm going to have to practice and get used to it. Frankly, I've been
wondering
playing.
whether you show it. Yeah.
Let's see. You know, I'm a lot cleaner with no teeth at the moment. But the idea is that it's flexible. It's versatile. You can go from the upper register and scream, or you can bring it right back down to a whisper.
Yeah.
And that's the nature of the large bore. So we've incorporated the sound of a large bore with the ease of playing of a medium large. So we don't feel like we're driving down the road in a Mack truck or a commercial lorry. We feel like we're driving a Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's fast and nimble, but yet it does everything it wants. So yeah, Lee McKinney is an artist. He's not a trumpet player. He can't
That's
play
amazing.
a horn in the life of him.
But he's an
But
artist.
he knows he's an artist. He can listen to he has killer ears, amazing ears.
Yeah.
He can listen to a player and adapt the equipment to their needs.
Yep.
What a talent that is. Wow.
Yeah, you hit a spot there. Lee McKinney is a great guy at Eclipse Trumpets, and by all means, please go and see him up at Luton. He is approachable. You can message him on his website or give him a call. Do all that. Will be well worth it. You can go up there, play trumpets, play test stuff, and I'm sure he'll help you out and suggest it. You can even probably play test Larry Meregillano horn, maybe. Do you reckon he has any there?
There are two new large bores that he put together. One is called the Fusion, which is a medium bell. A medium bell. This is a larger flare with basically the same type of configuration with some different metallurgy. I think the front end is probably nickel. And it goes on and on, but it's based off of this idea, but with a little different configuration. And then you have the LM. I'm partial to the LM. It's one of the larger sounding horns I've ever played as far as the efficiency of it. I mean, it just responses there, and it's versatile.
That's amazing. So in the end, overall, really, purchasing a trumpet or finding a trumpet, you're really finding one that suits you, aren't you? Because that's what you got built, was a trumpet that you are happy with.
And that's the wonderful thing about Lee, is you can try out a number of horns. You're going to find one that's going to suit you.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
In fact, you're going to find one you just can't live without.
Yeah.
It's that. And there's several makers that do this. I mean, the Harolds, the Taylors. There's some wonderful horns out of the market. You know, there's 1,000, but Lee McKinney is special.
Yes, he is.
And if you're looking for an engineer who will give you exactly what you want, tell him what you want, tell him how you want it to sound, and he'll produce it for you. He'll hand you a model and say, "This is that track."
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. Colicchio was the same way. Colicchio couldn't play a trumpet.
No.
But boy, we built him.
Yeah.
I'll never forget my first Colicchio. He's a little tiny Italian guy. He was in his late 70s at the time. And I'm a big 6'2" guy, and he's a short little guy, maybe 5'3". He holds his horn up in the air and point up. You try on my trumpet. I did. Bought it.
Well, hang on. Let me just get rid of all this for you. There we go. So, any chance we can get a bit of quick fire with you, Larry? So, favorite gig you've ever done?
I was working at Disney in a group called Frankie and the West and Pleasure Island, and somebody got the great idea that we should be the warm-up band for the premiere of Pocahontas in New York City with 480,000 people in attendance. And I'm telling you, it was nothing but a sea of people. You know, you see some of the events that they hold, and some of the royal events they hold on the big lawn by the palace. Well, this was about 10 times bigger than that. If you imagine 480,000 people, that's the estimated attendance. There was 3 screens put up for the premiere, and which consisted of containers, shipping containers, so about 10 wide and maybe 8 tall. So you had a big screen. That's how they looked. There was 3 of them in the park, and the main stage was in the center. And there I was playing Herbie Hancock's Canto. And I do a solo, and play double C's and double C sharps. And I'm having fun. I'm swaying. The crowd's going, moving around. And I'm thinking, wow, this is killer. I looked over to my right-hand side. And there stood Wayne Virgil. Just looked at it. It didn't bother me too much because I had known Wayne for years, from back when I was real active at Disney. And then I looked over my left shoulder. And suddenly I got nervous. Because Arturo Sandoval was sitting there going. So it wasn't the 500,000 people that bothered me. It was those two. I got nervous. I was shaking in my boots. Favorite gigs. I mean, black tie events at the Lincoln Center, Madison Square Garden Complex. I've played probably every major venue in the United States.
That's amazing.
At one time or another. And then, of course, several countries. It's hard to pinpoint one favorite gig. The Lincoln Center. I'm 21 years old, and I'm hired by Disney to be the lead trumpet player. Well, they get us there 4 days early, and there's no rehearsal. So they're putting me up in the Hilton Hotel. They're giving me $40 per diem, which was a lot of money back then. $1,000 a week, which was huge. So I had all that money in my pocket, ready to go spend it. I go down to Times Square, and I see this guy with Reunion Blues bag. I thought, well, I don't want one of those. So I run up to him in Times Square. I tap on his shoulder. Sir, can you tell me where you bought that bag? Oh, sure, mate. He's a trumpet player from London. Named Andy Gibson.
I know Andy.
And so we ended up spending the next 4 days together, chumming around at all the jazz clubs. We went to see Roy Eldridge. We saw Ray Brown with Herbie Green. We saw the Thad Jones Mellows big band, the Vanguard. On and on and on. We had a great time together.
Yeah.
And so I played that gig, and the contractor was Marky Markowitz, who was the guy that contracted all of Broadway in those days. And I was so nervous, I was afraid I was going to get a dry mouth, so I drank a bunch of iced tea before the gig. Well, I had to pee so bad during that performance, but somehow I nailed it. And afterwards, Marky looks at me and he says, Larry, I want you to move to New York City straight away. I'll put you to work on Broadway. I promise you $60,000 your first year, and I'll double it the second year. I promise you that. Between sessions and the gigs, I'm going to give you $120,000 in a year's time. Well, I had a good gig at Disney, and I was scared to death of New York City, so I didn't take them up on it. But there I was in front of the entire United Nations delegates, black tie event at the Lincoln Center. I'm 21, 22 years old, and somehow I nailed it. But that was a favorite gig. That was good.
Yeah.
So, story about Andy Gibson. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know him. I mean, we known him from Adam. In those days, we didn't have emails. So we exchanged our addresses, our telephone numbers. Never heard from him. Several years later, I'm at Disneyland. I'm working in the Disneyland band. And somebody taps me on the back and says, sir, can you tell me the time? I turned around, and there was Andy.
Wow.
His first holiday was to New York City in the States. His second holiday to the States was in California. And we met up by happenstance again.
Amazing. I love Andy. He's a great player, great trumpet player. Yeah. Okay, that was amazing. Next one. What about, I'm not going to say favorite trumpet player. What about favorite musician? Or maybe just most inspiring for you?
I was always inspired by Dizzy.
Yeah.
There's so many of them, but I'd say presently living. without a doubt, hands down, Arturo Sandoval.
Yes, the maestro himself.
We're acquaintances. We're friends. I speak to him once in a while. I've been over to his home. Certainly the greatest trumpet player to ever live, in my opinion, in that he can do it all. And he does it all in that big, huge mouthpiece the size of a trombone, not a trombone.
But it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. And what he's able to do is amazing. But he is all about compression in the upper register. It's all about compression.
Yeah.
And it's evident you see him play. Without a doubt, hands down, my good friend, Arturo Sandoval.
Great. I'm not going to say favorite instrument because obviously it's probably going to be the LM model Eclipse. Am I right? Or maybe not.
Of course, the front trumpets. Yeah, without a doubt. But there's so many great instruments out there. This sits alongside the best.
Yeah. I've got to admit, there was my teacher. I remember when I was in university, my teacher, John Hoffman, he was a great, and he had a trumpet that was like, he had it for years. And I tripped up the stairs running for a train and absolutely smashed the crook of me trumpet in and just destroyed the bell. And I had a gig that night with him. He was leading it and I was his lead player. And he obviously had his trumpet with him anyway. And he went, "Here, play mine. I'm like, okay. So I grabbed it out and started playing. I don't think I've ever played a trumpet that matched that. And it was just because he had it for 40 odd years. And it was a 43 lead pipe, 72 bell. But it's just everything, like, as he said to me, he goes, "I left all the good notes in there for you." And it's like...
I do have a 7243 left in my arsenal.
Yeah. It's
from those old horn, great old horn, but this one does more. Oh, this is a message from my good mate, Mark Upton. He says, by the way, Mark is a fabulous musician.
Yes, he is.
And he is absolutely fearless in any situation. So, I asked him, how do you do these things? The last minute, go out in front of an international audience and take over for somebody who lost their nerve or whatever.
Yeah.
He says, well, most people think I'm just thick. You sound great. Like you know what you're talking about.
I'll be getting...
Hi, Mark.
I'll be definitely getting Mark on at a later date, I hope. So just down the track, definitely. Yeah, Mark's fantastic. Larry, I'm not going to keep you any longer because I know the time frame over there. You probably want to get on with the rest of your day, to be honest with you. So personally, I can't thank you enough for coming and joining. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor. Go to Trumpet Legacy. Order Larry's book. Keep your eye out for obviously volume 2 and 3. That's going to be a big day as well. And obviously keep your eyes tuned for this trumpet compression system, because as we've said, and even Larry said himself, it's going to be a game changer. So make sure you get your orders in November, and hopefully it'll be an early Christmas present for everyone.
That's what I'm counting on. That's what I'm hoping for. And all indications are that it should be in by Christmas.
Yeah.
www.trumpetlegacy.com. And there's a sign-up list there so that you can reserve one of the first runs. And believe me, they are going to go in a hurry. I mean, if the Pete, which is another successful device for exercising, I understand they sold near 40,000 units. This thing is going to go in a hurry. So get your orders in for the first run.
Definitely.
I'll even sign it for you.
Hey. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're rewatching this, even if you've joined us live, thanks so much for joining us live. If you are liking Brass on Tap, do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification so you don't miss these amazing chats that we have with people like Larry. This stuff is invaluable, and this is why I set up this stream, so that people can come, rewatch, be inspired by someone like Larry. And if you do get inspired by Larry, why don't you contact him as well on trumpetlegacy.com. Go for a lesson. I mean, $60 for an hour, that is stealing money. So honestly, he is worth it. So
That's what I paid in 1977.
there you go. That's insane. So there you go. What Larry paid with no inflation. So all I can say, massive thank you, Larry. Tune in next week for Brass on Tap it'll be next Tuesday. I think Tuesday the 13th, if I'm correct, at 7 p.m. And I'll let you know during the week who I'm going to be having on. So thank you very much, Larry. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Cheers.
Take care.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.